Still remember being crawling out of the emergency exit window on a Boeing 757, crawling along the wing to take a look at the engine pylon. And I remember thinking, this is the best. I love this. And that is a moment from my first workplace, along with other lessons learned from that first experience that I am excited to share with you today. So, if we've not yet connected, my name is Lydia. And if you're watching this on YouTube, hurrah, be sure to subscribe and connect because I love encouraging and connecting women to be able to find their passion and to do so unapologetically. So, with lessons learned from this workplace, I started in the aerospace engineering field. I worked with a couple of different airlines before I made the transition to eventually coming home and being with then having kids. And even though that feels like a long time ago, what's really cool are the things that have stuck with me that literally shape the way in which I do my parenting from the things that I learned in the workplace. So I'd love to see in the comments what your first workplace experience was. Were you a teacher? Were you an engineer like I was? Was it in corporate? What was it? Tell me below. I'd love to hear it. Were you a waitress? Which I think that's some awesome work. Okay, so first thing that I learned is that I can have fun while making money. So, like I mentioned, I had days where I would just be exploring on aircraft. And for that particular job, it was with doing repairs. So, it meant that it was going all over planes, going on top of planes, checking out things that are happening with the underside of planes. So looking at different flight controls, that kind of thing. And I loved it. And it fulfilled something I had decided even when I was in college that was going to be my life's mission. And that is no matter what work I do, I want to make sure that I enjoy it. Because if I don't enjoy it, then what's the point? So it was really amazing to be able to actually have that to come true, that I was able to have fun while making money. Next was that I can learn and get better. Whew. I will say it is a very different environment depending on the airline that you're with to be a woman of color and to be a female working in a very male dominated space. Totally cool with that because this is what I enjoy. I love creating and I love building and I love doing things that are very tinkering heavy. And so just being in that place where there were things that I thought I understood or I would sometimes not be sure what to do, I learned that it was important for me to ask and it was important for me to be teachable. So I learned that no matter what I am doing in life, I can always learn and get better, whether that's with parenting, whether that's with my marriage, whether that's with my cooking, whether that's with doing this with you. No matter what it is that I do, it's all about getting better. The next thing that I learned that was really exciting was that every person has a story. I mean, I am thinking about the incredible, the amazing people I got to work with, and their stories stick with me. So I'm remembering my first manager who would go on motorcycle trips from Atlanta all the way up through to Alaska, or the mechanic who created his own not his own plane, he created his own car. So he created all the pieces, welded it together, brought together old engine parts. I love those kinds of stories. Then there was the family that had experienced a loss, but was choosing to use that to then help them to help others with adoption. So many different stories. And what I loved is that with each story, it spoke to that person's heart and to their passion and to their mission on the planet. Such great stuff. And that brings me to this last point, that pursuing your passion is well worth it. I consider myself very, very blessed to be someone who, not without me fully realizing it, I found something that I was passionate about very early. And that was working with numbers. It was working with things that are mechanical. There are some who do that very much within the arts. One of my sisters is an amazing writer, and she took that to create a phenomenal journaling career. She is a phenomenal journalist and editor. But the thing was, we found our passion and we went after it, even if that meant going to low paying internships, even if that meant late nights, even if it meant heartache, even if it meant that things wouldn't necessarily work out the way that we thought it would, we still went for it anyway. And what's really cool is that with this passion, it ends up being multifaceted. So, as much as I love working on things and figuring out problems, I love stories. I love helping people to discover their own story, to be able to bring that passion and that fire to what it is that they're doing, whether they're the stay at home mom, whether they're the female entrepreneur, whether they're in the workplace and just desiring for it to be the best one ever. All of us have giftings and skills that we can bring. You have a particular gifting and skill that your people right where you are need. So I'd love to connect and let's see. Hey, we got someone who's on here. Yes. Good to see you. I'd love to connect. So be sure to do that. If you've not seen the link for the Facebook group, that's down where it says let's connect. And you just click that /links link and that'll take you straight there. Links link, right? And it looks like for Andrea, awesome. So her first job, she taught K-5 music starting mid-year. Oh my goodness, taking over from a really challenging situation, I can imagine. It was honestly brutal, but it taught you so much. Yes to trial by fire. It is, and it's amazing how those lessons end up sticking with us, right? That it creates this place where we then can choose what we do next. And I love it. It's true. Every person has a story. And so when you choose to really dive into that, my goodness, the amazing things you find. So as I mentioned before, thank you so much, Andrea, for all that feedback. As I mentioned before, you're welcome to connect with me on Instagram, on Facebook. We have a fantastic Facebook community where we connect and we're all about growing and pursuing our passions. So if you've not yet joined, you can just click on that and I would love to see you in there. And if not, no worries. Until next time, have an amazing rest of your day and be awesome.